Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of information, sift through it, and pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight.
That's the plan.
Today, we're plunging into a topic that's, well, quickly moving from science fiction to our everyday reality. The emerging landscape of crime and security in the metaverse.
It's a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've brought together some truly fascinating sources for this exploration, ranging from first-hand accounts of law enforcement tackling virtual crimes to cutting-edge legal analyses and detailed tech reviews.
A real mix.
Our mission today is to help you unpack this complex, evolving digital frontier. Before we jump into this intriguing world, though, we want to give a huge shout-out to our sponsor, www.cryptoimpacthub.com.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
If you're looking to understand the real-world impact of digital assets and blockchain, their insights are truly invaluable. They really cut through the noise, providing a beacon of clarity in a rapidly evolving space.
It's needed.
And we're incredibly grateful for their support in making these deep dives possible. So, what exactly is the metaverse? And why has this seemingly fantastical digital realm become a new, unexpected battleground for cybercrime?
That's the core question, isn't it?
That's what we're here to explore for you today, getting right to the heart of what you need to know about this digital revolution and, well, its darker undercurrents.
Indeed, this is a critical moment to understand these dynamics. The metaverse is rapidly evolving from, a futuristic concept into a tangible reality.
It feels like it's happening fast.
Incredibly fast. It's integrating itself into our daily lives for entertainment, work, social connection.
All sorts of things.
And with its exponential growth, we're witnessing both immense financial opportunities and significant novel vulnerabilities opening up for individuals, businesses, even governments.
So big potential, big problems.
Exactly. This deep dive will illuminate not just what these new threats are, but more importantly, why they matter to you. Whether you're a casual user, a parent worried about your kids online, or a business owner, maybe.
Or a business owner looking to expand into digital spaces. Or, simply someone trying to stay informed in our increasingly digital world. The implications are really far-reaching.
Okay, let's unpack this then. First, what are we actually talking about when we say the metaverse?
Right. Well, our sources describe it as far more than just a game.
Not just Second Life anymore.
It's a virtual digital world, often incredibly immersive, where users can engage in pretty much whatever their imagination allows. Think of it as this sprawling network of interconnected 3D virtual environments.
Persistent spaces.
Persistent digital spaces, exactly. They continue to exist even when you're not logged in. These worlds focus on fostering deep social and economic connection.
So you interact through avatars.
Right, personalized avatars. You can do commerce. You can even build your own digital experiences. It's designed to simulate reality to such a degree that you truly feel present.
That presence factor is key.
It really is, blurring the lines between the virtual and the physical.
So how did we get here? What's the evolution? Well, what's truly fascinating is how this concept has evolved. We've seen earlier iterations, right? Massively multiplayer online role-playing games, MMORPGs.
Like The Sims or World of Warcraft.
Exactly. Where users created virtual people, interacted in simulated worlds, had those in-game economies. But today's sophisticated virtual environments, they take that core idea much further.
How so?
It's not just about in-game assets anymore. It's about genuine digital ownership, often powered by blockchain technology.
The crypto connection.
Right. And the ability to seamlessly transfer value between the virtual and real worlds. The fundamental principle is still user engagement, building virtual resources, acquiring assets like digital land or unique collectibles.
NFTs and things like that.
Precisely. Participating in virtual concerts, art museums, even professional meetings. But what's crucial to understand is that these virtual assets, these resources, they can be bought and sold using real-world currency.
So a direct link to actual money.
A seamless integration, yeah. Merging the digital with the physical economy, creating this whole new frontier of economic activity. That heightened immersion and direct economic integration, that's key to its appeal. And unfortunately, its vulnerability.
Okay, so that leads to the question.
Yeah.
Why is this immersive digital playground? Which sounds exciting, right? Why is it becoming such an attractive target for criminals? It seems counterintuitive. Fun, not crime.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's fundamentally about scale, opportunity, and the very design of these new digital ecosystems.
Scale meaning?
Firstly, the sheer number of users, it's immense. We're talking about platforms where some virtual worlds boast over 100 million active accounts.
100 million, wow.
Yeah. So that offers a vast, tempting pool of potential victims for cybercriminals, whether they're after personal data, financial assets, or just new ways to exploit people.
It's like building the world's biggest theme park.
And inevitably, it attracts pickpockets along with the tourists. Exactly.
Okay, beyond just the numbers, what about the design? The inherent features of these virtual worlds, what makes them fertile ground for bad actors?
The communication capabilities built into these platforms are a major draw for criminals.
How are they using them?
They can extensively use the text, voice, or video chat features within these games and spaces. It lets them coordinate illicit activities, identify and exploit vulnerable individuals, especially kids and young adults.
Grooming and things like that.
Sadly, yes. Or even plan and orchestrate real-world crimes. And what's really concerning is that these communications often happen on channels not traditionally monitored by law enforcement or standard internet security.
So harder to detect.
Much harder. They might use peer-to-peer connections or proprietary in-game chat systems that don't go through the same public networks. It's like finding a dark corner to lurk in within a crowded, seemingly safe park. Clandestine activities happening out of sight.
And the other big draw you mentioned, the economy.
Right, the compelling economic aspect. This is perhaps the most significant magnet for criminals. Almost all these games and virtual worlds have these elaborate virtual economies.
Earning virtual cash, buying virtual stuff.
Exactly. Users earn or buy virtual currencies, acquire valuable in-game objects, digital outfits, virtual land, you name it. What's crucial to grasp here is that these virtual items can hold significant real-world monetary value.
We're not talking pennies, are we?
Definitely not. Some virtual objects, like rare NFTs or digital real estate, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions.
Millions for
Yeah.
virtual items.
Absolutely. And importantly, these virtual assets can often be converted into real-world cash via real-world exchanges, crypto platforms, or services like PayPal.
So that direct link again.
That seamless integration with real financial systems unfortunately makes it an attractive environment for traditional financial crimes. Think bank fraud, wire fraud, theft, money laundering.
All finding a new home.
Exactly. The convergence of virtual economies with tangible financial systems creates this fertile, often less regulated ground for illicit activities.
So boiling it down for us, the users navigating these new digital worlds. It sounds like the very tools designed for fun, connection, and business are inadvertently creating powerful new paths for serious crime.
That's the crux of it.
It's really blurring the lines between virtual actions and real-world consequences in ways we're, frankly, still trying to figure out. The virtual impact becomes very, very real. Okay, so the metaverse opens new digital doors, and criminals are walking right through them, adapting old tricks and inventing new ones.
Yeah.
What kinds of crimes are we actually seeing emerge? What's the spectrum look like?
Well, we're observing a really broad spectrum of criminal activity, everything from severe exploitation and property crimes all the way to highly sophisticated financial scams.
It's not just old wine in new bottles, then.
Not entirely. What's insightful here isn't just that old crimes find new venues, it's how the metaverse fundamentally redefines the nature of these crimes. Yes, many traditional crimes are just being grafted onto the digital sphere.
Finding new ways to commit fraud or theft.
Right. But the unique immersive nature of the metaverse adds entirely new layers of complexity. It makes these crimes potentially more insidious. Their impacts may be more profound than before.
That paints a pretty stark picture. It seems the innovations bringing us together also create these new vulnerabilities. Can you maybe shed some light on how the most disturbing real-world crimes like exploitation are playing out virtually?
Unfortunately, crimes like grooming, intimidation, deception, stalking, they're quite prevalent in these virtual spaces, and often amplified by the anonymity and the perceived distance.
Can you give an example?
Sure. In Roblox, for instance, a deeply concerning incident was reported where a mother stated her daughter's avatar was virtually gang raped by 2 other users within the platform.
That's horrifying, even virtually.
Absolutely. And similarly, users in Meta's Horizon Worlds, the VR platform, they've reported being groped or subjected to, quote, repeated rape threats and racist abuse, sometimes within moments of just joining.
So, while it's not physical injury.
Right. No physical injury in the real world, but the immersive nature of VR means victims experience profound emotional harm and psychological trauma. The disinhibition that comes from not being face-to-face, being represented by avatars.
People feel bolder.
It often exacerbates this kind of abusive behavior. Perpetrators feel emboldened to commit acts they might never consider in person. That blurring of lines between virtual interaction and real psychological impact is a significant, really disturbing challenge.
And that raises a critical point you mentioned. Anonymity. The avatars. How does that factor in? Why does it make these things so hard to address?
Precisely. The anonymity afforded by avatars allows perpetrators to pose as others. It makes it incredibly difficult to verify who they truly are behind that digital mask.
We've seen examples.
Stark examples. Like a 17-year-old boy who built a cyber brothel in The Sims Online, offering cybersex for virtual currency. His accounts were eventually canceled, but no legal action was taken, partly due to ambiguity about jurisdiction, the nature of the crime.
And more serious cases.
More alarmingly, a convicted sex offender was arrested in Illinois for allegedly grooming and soliciting a minor through Roblox. That highlights the very real-world dangers.
So the challenge for law enforcement is huge.
Immense. Identifying the real person behind the avatar, then compelling service providers to cooperate often across international borders to reveal that identity and take action. This inherent lack of transparency makes these environments a potential haven for predatory behavior.
We've also heard about these unique economic crimes, where virtual items suddenly carry real-world weight. This idea of virtual theft, can you elaborate on that? How does it challenge our legal definitions of property?
Yeah, virtual theft is a significant and growing concern. It really does redefine our understanding of property. Back in 2007, a Dutch teenager was arrested for allegedly stealing virtual furniture worth 4,000 euros from Habbo Hotel.
How did they do it?
Luring users to fake websites, stealing account details, then using those to take the virtual goods. And this wasn't just play money, it represented real economic value.
And there have been more extreme cases.
Much more. In 2005, a Chinese gamer was sentenced to life in prison for killing a fellow player. The motive. The victim had sold a virtual sword lent to him by the perpetrator in the game The Legend of Mir 3 for $870 on eBay.
Wow. So real-world violence over virtual items.
It clearly illustrates that virtual items can possess very real, substantial monetary value, leading to actual real-world criminal acts.
It sounds like virtual items can definitely be worth real money, but is that always clear legally? Is the line between virtual and real property still blurry in the eyes of the law?
Not always clear, no. And this is precisely where significant legal ambiguities arise. For instance, stealing basic in-game supplies that don't have a direct established real-world value often lacks a clear legal remedy.
So no prosecution possible.
Current laws struggle to categorize that as a prosecutable offense in many places. However, when digital assets do possess demonstrable real-world monetary value, like rare World of Warcraft items traded for cash or NFTs,
then legal protection is needed.
Absolutely imperative. There's a critical need for clearer definitions in law to address these discrepancies, especially regarding victims' emotional duress and civil rights. The U.S. currently lacks a substantial body of case law for virtual goods theft.
Unlike other countries.
Unlike some places like South Korea and the Netherlands, where such cases have seen successful prosecutions, restitution orders, the challenge is convincing prosecutors and judges here that a virtual sword is theft, deserving the same legal treatment as physical property.
That's a fundamental shift needed.
A slow and arduous one, it seems.
Okay, speaking of NFTs, our sources highlight a major incident that really brought their vulnerability into sharp focus. What happened with OpenSea, the big NFT marketplace?
Right, OpenSea. In February 2022, they suffered a significant, quite sophisticated attack. It led to the theft of 254 tokens, valued collectively at an astonishing $1.7 million at the time.
$1.7 million. How did the attackers manage that?
They specifically exploited a vulnerability within the smart contracts tied to each NFT. They managed to get users to sign partial contracts, essentially, incomplete digital agreements, leaving key parts blank.
Like a half-signed check.
Sort of. Once signed, the attackers completed these contracts with a call to their own malicious contract. This then transferred ownership of the NFTs to them without any payment. Clever, leveraging a technical loophole.
Okay, let's unpack this. NFTs run on blockchain, often touted for security. What makes them and the underlying tech vulnerable to these exploits?
That's a great question. NFTs are unique digital assets, ownership recorded on a blockchain, defined by these smart contracts. Think of smart contracts like self-executing agreements in code.
Like digital vending machines?
Exactly. Conditions met, transaction happens automatically, no human intermediary. The problem is, smart contracts are code, and code can have flaws, bugs.
What kind of flaws?
Things like re-entrancy attacks, where a malicious contract repeatedly withdraws funds before the first transaction finishes, or unchecked external calls, relying on another program without verifying its output. Subtle but powerful glitches.
Especially in fast-moving markets.
Particularly common in rapidly growing markets like NFTs, where code gets copied and deployed without thorough auditing. And once these contracts are on the blockchain, errors are generally irreversible, immutable.
And no central authority to fix it.
Right. No bank to reverse the transfer. Victims have limited recourse.
So it's not just about hacking the contract code itself.
No. Beyond direct exploits, criminals use traditional tactics too. Creating spoof websites that look exactly like popular NFT marketplaces.
The steal logins?
Precisely. Lure victims into entering credentials, gain access to their crypto wallets, drain their assets. We also see rug-pulling schemes.
What are those?
Individuals pose as legitimate NFT creators, build hype, solicit millions from investors, then just abandon the project, keeping the funds.
Like that case in LA.
Exactly. Attackers defrauded investors of over $22 million, led to charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. It highlights the multifaceted threats. And for those interested in digging deeper into digital assets and blockchain, our sponsor, www.cryptoimpacthub.com, offers really valuable insights into the intricacies and impacts of this whole space.
Good resource. Now, our sources also mention this unsettling emergence of AI-driven scams and threats, making it harder to trust what you see and hear. How are these manifesting? What makes them so deceptive?
Right. The metaverse introduces threats that profoundly blur the line between reality and deception. It's an incredibly potent environment for sophisticated scams.
Like AI avatars.
Exactly. AI-generated avatars that can impersonate trusted individuals, making it almost impossible to tell if you're interacting with a real person or a clever program. Add deep fake voice tech mimicking someone you know, a friend, family, an executive.
Chilling.
This AI-driven deception makes scams far more convincing, more insidious than before, exploiting human trust and the digital infrastructure itself.
What specific examples are we seeing?
Pervasive virtual identity theft, stealing avatars, credentials, data to take over profiles, then impersonating people to commit financial fraud, trick others into sending virtual currency or personal info.
And in business.
Deepfake impersonation scams are alarming. AI voices or avatars mimicking executives to authorize fraudulent transactions. Multi-million-dollar losses before anyone realizes they've been duped.
Wow, even ransomware.
Even ransomware-style attacks, yes. Holding entire VR spaces hostage, demanding crypto payments to restore access, extorting whole virtual communities. It raises a really important question for all of us.
Which is?
How do we tell what's real? In a world where deception is becoming so technologically advanced, so seamless, and our senses are so completely immersed.
That's a chilling thought. Ties right into a quote from one source. As immersive environments become more lifelike, distinguishing between authentic interactions and malicious schemes becomes increasingly difficult.
Exactly. The very success of the metaverse in creating realism is also its greatest vulnerability. Makes it almost impossible for the human eye to spot the fraud.
Okay, it's clear the metaverse presents unprecedented challenges. Huge hurdles for security, for governance. What are the major obstacles for law enforcement and regulators trying to keep pace? Especially when they're working with laws designed for the physical world.
Yeah, this raises a really important question everyone's grappling with. The main approach so far has been, well, to try and graft existing physical world laws onto the digital one.
Makes sense on the surface.
It's logical, sure. A crime is a crime. But it has severe limitations. The unique characteristics of the metaverse often defy straightforward legal interpretation. We're trying to fit square pegs into round holes, basically.
So what are the challenges in just defining what counts as a crime in the metaverse?
Yeah.
Especially when the game itself might allow certain actions.
Well, what's really challenging is that some virtual environments are designed to permit acts of violence or property crimes as part of the gameplay, right?
Like in Grand Theft Auto or something.
Exactly. In those contexts, participant consent might make those behaviors acceptable within the game. But where do you draw the line? How do you prevent real psychological harm from bullying, harassment, bigotry? Things that, while virtual, inflict profound real-world trauma.
Our current laws aren't really set up for that nuance.
No, they're ill-equipped. Differentiating between intended gameplay and genuine malicious intent that crosses into real harm is incredibly difficult. Take, for example, creating an avatar that looks like a public figure or uses a corporate logo for defamatory behavior. Physical world laws address that, sure.
But doing it effectively online is harder.
Much harder in the metaverse, complicated by the avatar owner's anonymity. Plus, there's a lack of clear guidelines compelling service providers to suspend accounts or remove content.
Whose responsibility is it? The platforms.
Exactly. Should they moderate? How quickly? What if the platform is based in another country with different laws? This ambiguity leaves victims with limited recourse and creates this legal gray area that bad actors exploit.
Okay, and what about the practicalities? Enforcement and prosecution.
Right.
Even if we agree something is a crime, how do you catch and prosecute someone whose actions span multiple jurisdictions?
Right. The metaverse's inherent global nature spanning geographies, jurisdictions, creates immense complexity, huge uncertainties about which national laws even apply to a given virtual crime.
Which really hampers things like
Lawful data interception, or even perpetrator extradition. If a fraudster in country A targets someone in country B via a platform in country C, which laws apply? Who has jurisdiction? It's a legal labyrinth.
And criminals know this.
Oh, they're shrewd. Criminal organizations can intentionally locate operations where legal ambiguities benefit them most. Forum shopping for the most lenient environment. This echoes existing challenges in international law, but the metaverse intensifies them.
So what does this mean for virtual assets if someone loses real money's worth of virtual stuff?
Well, it's often unclear if theft of metaverse assets legally constitutes a property crime. If someone stole basic in-game supplies with no clear real-world value, there's likely no legal remedy in many places.
The law just doesn't cover it.
Not yet, not consistently. But if those digital assets do have demonstrable real-world monetary value, like valuable WowW items traded for cash, or NFTs representing real investments, then robust legal protections are absolutely needed. There's significant ambiguity still, extending to a victim's emotional distress, their civil rights.
And the U.S. is lagging behind.
The U.S. currently lacks a substantial body of case law to guide prosecution, unlike, say, South Korea or the Netherlands, where people have been prosecuted in order to pay restitution for stealing virtual items.
So the challenge is perception again.
Convincing prosecutors and judges that a virtual sword is theft in the eyes of the law, deserving the same treatment as physical property. Especially when real money is lost, it's a fundamental shift that's happening too slowly.
Our sources also point to systemic limitations around privacy and data in these immersive environments. That's a concern for everyone, right? Raising new questions about digital rights.
Absolutely. Virtual reality devices, just by how they work, collect extensive, almost X-ray-like personal data.
What kind of data are we talking about?
Highly intimate information, physical movements, GPS locations, online interactions, how your avatar moves, eye tracking where you look, how long you gaze.
Even hand tracking.
Hand tracking what you touch, how you gesture, even head movement. This info, when aggregated, reveals incredibly precise physiological and psychological traits. It forms what's called a kinematic fingerprint.
A digital twin of your physical self.
Pretty much. It can identify an individual with surprising accuracy, even if individual data points don't seem identifying on their own.
Wow. So kinematic fingerprint. How does this extensive, intimate data collection mesh with big data concepts and regulations like GDPR? That's supposed to be the gold standard for privacy.
Right. VR data, as a form of big data, has unique capacities that really intensify existing challenges. First, it's variety. It forms a self-sufficing ecosystem.
Meaning?
Unlike other data needing external context, VR data is so comprehensive. Your movement, task, interactions are all captured right there. It requires less outside info for analysis. This allows broader inferences, blurring the line between identifying and non-identifying data. That aggregate data can form that identifying kinematic fingerprint.
Okay, what else?
Second, veracity. VR seems like a great place for experiments, right? A controlled, lab-like environment. Engineers can design scenarios for specific outcomes.
Like medical research.
Exactly. One team successfully used VR to help identify kids with autism spectrum disorder by analyzing their joint movements imitating an avatar. Over 80% success. So the data can be reliable for specific things.
But there's a catch.
A big one. Users' behaviors in VR can deviate significantly from real life. That Oxford study. Only 1 in 10 would jump off a virtual cliff despite feeling real fear.
So the behavior isn't always real.
Right. Analysis derived from VR, while procedurally perfect, might be fundamentally inaccurate in reflecting your real-world self. Yet this potentially distorted data could still be used to profile you for real-world things: employment, loans, insurance, potentially unfair assessments based on virtual actions.
And the third V.
Most critically, velocity, the real-time processing. This allows for incredibly subtle psychological persuasion, way beyond what normal websites can do.
Also,
VR providers can process data on your body movement, gaze, emotional state in real time. They could infer your mood from, say, pupil dilation or head movements, then strategically slip appetizing virtual food into a scene right before a restaurant ad pops up.
whoa, targeted ads based on my subconscious reactions.
Or if your gaze lingers on an item, an algorithm could subtly shift the environment to highlight it or related products. This personalization can be so subtle you don't notice it, yet it actively shapes your behavior, influences choices subconsciously. A profound challenge to autonomy.
This aspect, the subconscious influence, makes me wonder, how can we navigate consent? If experiences are designed to be unnoticeable, how does informed consent work when the VR company might know more about you than you do and can influence you without you realizing it?
That's the core of the dilemma. The current rules, like GDPR requiring explicit consent for sensitive data like biometrics, well, traditional text-based privacy policies just aren't adequate in VR.
Those long documents nobody reads.
Exactly. Phrases like experience unique and relevant to you can imply personalization way beyond what a user imagines, potentially without their awareness of how much data is collected or used. It undermines the right to self-determination. You can't make a truly informed decision if you don't know what's happening.
So it's a legal quagmire.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Strict interpretation could stifle VR innovation. Flexibility could leave users incredibly vulnerable to unseen manipulation and profiling. A very difficult balance.
And this often leads to that privacy paradox, right? People say they care about privacy, but their actions don't always reflect it.
Exactly. Because the individual cool features seem harmless. Personalized lighting reacting to your mood, virtual characters adapting to your gaze.
Yeah.
They enhance immersion.
And they make it feel real.
Right. But when these small features and the data they rely on are aggregated and used for unseen persuasion or detailed profiling, they can have profound, long-reaching consequences on autonomy. The sum of these small permissions is far greater, far more impactful than anyone anticipates. We're unknowingly trading significant privacy for better immersion.
Okay, the challenges are immense, the issue's complex. But this isn't hopeless, right? What solutions are emerging? What can industry, technology, policy do to protect users and combat crime in the metaverse?
No, not hopeless. We have a crucial, maybe fleeting window right now to establish clear guidelines and frameworks. We urgently need clear policies.
Policies defining what, exactly?
Defining what constitutes a prosecutable crime in the metaverse. What data can be collected via lawful interception. What obligations metaverse operators have to cooperate with law enforcement, especially across borders.
This needs new laws, not just tweaks.
Absolutely. Establishing entirely new laws specific to digital property, virtual interactions, fostering new attitudes in legal and law enforcement communities, developing new processes tailored to the unique, borderless, immersive nature of these environments. Time is ticking. We need these guardrails before the metaverse fully matures without them.
What role can the tech industry itself play? The creators of these worlds, how can they help law enforcement and prevent crime?
Well, companies operating in the metaverse need to communicate more openly, more proactively with law enforcement.
Like educating them.
Exactly. Educating them on game mechanics, communication channels, what data and resources are available for investigations. Many companies are already building law enforcement guides, setting up liaison teams.
So it helps the companies too.
Definitely. This collaboration leads to better IP protection for them by reducing fraud, fosters a safer, more trusting customer base, and ultimately builds a more secure virtual environment for everyone. It's aligning incentives.
Our sources also point to tech advancements as a key part of the solution. Tech fighting tech-enabled crime.
Right. And what's fascinating here is the development of next-gen defense systems using the same advanced tech criminals exploit. AI-powered security avatars, for instance.
Digital watchdogs.
Essentially, yeah. Real-time digital monitors scanning virtual environments for fraud, detecting impersonation scams by analyzing subtle behaviors, identifying deep fakes before they deceive users, spotting anomalies much faster than humans can.
And blockchain. We talked about its vulnerabilities, but can it also be part of the solution?
Absolutely. Its core principles, decentralization, immutability, can be powerful tools. Think decentralized identity verification, where your identity is confirmed without one central place holding all your data.
More secure transactions.
Securing transactions with blockchain-based authentication. This can prevent fraudulent NFT sales, stop fake marketplace scams, block unauthorized transfers. It ensures users have reliable, tamper-proof ownership, reducing theft opportunities. And again, for understanding these digital assets better, our sponsor, www.cryptoimpacthub.com, has great resources on both the risks and the potential.
Okay, what else on the tech front?
End-to-end encryption for VR communication is becoming absolutely essential. Safeguarding voice chats, virtual meetings, private exchanges from corporate espionage or data leaks.
Encrypting the AI fakes.
Digital forensics for AI-generated manipulation is emerging as a critical field. Experts developing tools to differentiate legitimate users from AI imposters, analyzing rendered images, voice modulations, behavioral responses, reinforcing trust. These tech solutions are a proactive approach.
So bringing it back to the listener, for us as users, as parents navigating this new frontier, how can we protect ourselves and our families? What's actionable?
For parents, it's mainly about vigilance and awareness, just like in the physical world, but with new dimensions.
You wouldn't just drop your kid at any park.
Exactly. You need to understand the virtual playgrounds your kids are in. Research the platforms, familiarize yourself with features, set firm rules for online interactions like limits on sharing personal info or talking to strangers.
And use safety tools.
Explore built-in child protection capabilities or third-party software like Trend Micro for game consoles, which can block inappropriate chat content, restrict features, and crucially, open communication with your kids about their experiences.
So it's definitely not a set-it-and-forget-it situation. You have to stay on top of new games, new features constantly.
Exactly right. The landscape shifts constantly. New games, new features, new threats. What was safe yesterday might need adjustments tomorrow.
And for all users, especially around privacy, moving beyond those text policies.
We need to move beyond outdated text-based consent. Proposed solutions include customizable privacy settings for VR, giving users granular control over how much physiological data is used.
Controlling things like emotion-responsive lighting.
Right, or other subtle manipulations designed for immersion but potentially influencing behavior. The key is giving users real control over specific data uses.
But that subconscious influence thing, if it's designed to be unnoticeable, how do we really understand the implications? How do we make people aware of what they're agreeing to?
That's where interactive education comes in. A complementary solution. Instead of just reading dense text few understand, users could watch short, engaging videos, maybe do interactive exercises testing their comprehension.
Show, don't just tell.
Exactly. Imagine an immersive experience demonstrating how eye movements are tracked or how aggregated data reveals intimate details, drawing inspiration from medicine like virtual multimedia interactive informed consent, or VIC tools used there.
So an interactive experience could reveal the risks better.
Far more effectively than dense legal text. It bridges that gap between user expectation and actual privacy implications, fostering truly informed consent. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Wow, what a deep dive. From understanding the metaverse itself to grappling with sophisticated deepfake scams blurring reality, the evolution of virtual property theft, those profound privacy challenges of X-ray data, it's clear this digital frontier is still very much being defined.
It really is.
The interplay of rapid tech innovation, slow-to-adapt legal frameworks, and complex human behavior creates this constantly shifting landscape. It demands our continuous attention, our proactive engagement.
Indeed. The metaverse is a powerful, ongoing experiment in how we interact, socialize, conduct commerce. It offers incredible opportunities, connection, creativity, new economic activity.
Right.
But it also demands our constant vigilance and critical thinking to safeguard against these emerging, increasingly sophisticated threats we've discussed. The goal has to be ensuring that as these virtual worlds expand, trust remains the most valuable currency.
And that we're equipped to handle it.
Exactly. That we as users, parents, society are equipped with the knowledge and tools to navigate its complexities safely and responsibly.
And that really leaves a thought for you, the listener, to mull over. As virtual reality lets us take on new challenges, new experiments without immediate real-life dangers, are we truly understanding the invisible privacy risks we're accepting?
It's a critical question.
The more experiments we make, the better perhaps. But only if we understand the profound implications of our digital footprint and face them head on. Ensuring our autonomy, our privacy, aren't inadvertently sacrificed just for better immersion. A huge thank you again to our sponsor, www.cryptoimpacthub.com, for making this deep dive possible.
Their support is invaluable.
Their dedication to exploring the impact of digital assets and blockchain aligns perfectly with our mission to keep you well informed and help you understand this rapidly evolving space. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this exploration has given you a clearer understanding of the profound implications of crime and security in the metaverse,
And hopefully empowered you with some knowledge.
to navigate this exciting yet challenging new world. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.